Hey friends, good morning. If is there anyone who is listening me, let's start our challenge for today's. I can see there is no one, but I'll greet everybody who is watching after this live or who is present in the moment. A very good morning for all of you, and we are going to do live now. So live in the sense we are going to read a book as always is fifth day of challenge 91 days, and we are going to read book, but there are lots of things that I have to talk about today, that what I realized, what I felt, how I was doing yesterday in the sense like I did live streaming yesterday as well in the morning, but today I was trying to figure out the things yesterday, when I was not live. I thought that I'm going to show you whatever I'm going to do. Let's say right now, I'm starting, I started my YouTube channel. In that YouTube channel, there are lots of things that I have to implement. First of all, edit. The second thing is that my video should look good so that people can watch it. Thumbnail should be good, and besides that, I have also my work, professional life, where I have to do my work. I have to thrive myself so that I can complete all those things related to my work. So it's kind of like I'm juggling in the sense I can't say struggling because I don't like these words specifically. I don't like to say I am struggling. I'm not struggling, but I want to say that just I'm not getting a time for YouTube plus my work simultaneously. So I have decided some of the things that I'd like to talk about with you today. And the second thing is that when I was at live, I came earlier live today because as I told on Saturday that I'm going to be live or I'm going to come live early in the morning before 9 o'clock, and I did this today. Yesterday I did, but it was too late, like 9:40 something like that, 9:40 or 9:30 a.m. So but I tried and I said, and yeah, today I'm live very early in the morning. So this is also the second thing that I can say, that if you are going to commit yourself for something and in front of people, you can also record yourself or create your own channel, if you are going to create your channel and you are going to upload your videos, it doesn't matter if people are going to watch it or not. You will be having something in your mind, there will be people who is going to watch. What if people watch me, then what will happen? I have committed myself that I'll wake up early in the morning tomorrow and I'll go live. But if people don't didn't came to know that didn't come to know that you didn't wake up early in the morning, then your impression will not be good. So that is how you will be able to wake yourself early in the morning. So that is how it works basically. Our brain, it works basically. So you can also create your channel where you can upload videos or go live so that you can be better in your life. It's not for all other people, or it's for you want to earn money or you want to gain some subscribers or something like that. You know that if you are going to upload video or you are going to have live on your YouTube channel, then no one is going to watch that within 1 day or 2 day. It will take time. If it has good quality things, people will if people started liking it, then only your videos will be going viral. It's not like that if you are going to record today and it will be live. What I'm trying to say here is that you just have to record, or you just have to do live stream just for yourself, not for other people, so that you can be better in your life. This is what happening in right now in my life, not life nowadays with me actually, because no, still I can see no one is watching. Still I'm talking to people, but I know that no one is watching, but I have that feeling that anybody can come and watch it. So as well as after ending this live stream, these live stream will be on my YouTube channel, so people can come and watch it and they'll feel oh, what I'm doing or how I'm behaving or whatever it is. The thing is that what I'm trying to say here is you are kind of in front of people and you are trying to behave, or you are trying to do something in front of them, and just because of that thought, you will be acting very true to yourself only, not other people but yourself, and that way you are going to do the things that you want to do. Like try out it by yourself, you'll get to know the changes in you. Like in myself, there are lots of changes that I felt. Like yesterday I was trying to do the things, like I was trying to learn editing skill, and somehow I was managed to get some of the things, not some of the things, like I was trying to blur my background. Like I recorded my video, and in that video I wanted to blur my background, but it was kind of like I have to do these, that, and it's kind of a lot of combination through which I can get a good result. I can blur, but it will not be a good result. But in order to get a good result, you need to have lots of things implemented on that particular video, and then only it will be like fine. So what I'm trying to say here, as I was learning this skill yesterday, it made me feel like you can't do each and everything at a time simultaneously, because there are other things that also I want to do, like my work related. I have to do my work, I have to do other things as well. So it made me realize that you can't do each and everything at a time. You have to give time to yourself, to your work, to your things, then only it will be easy. So the thing is here, I'm trying to say is that keep patience, have patience on your things. Like if you started a YouTube, you don't need to have everything in one day. Like you don't need to have the video like other YouTubers. You are new here, you can show yourself as it is. After a certain period of time, you will be able to be like that, because you will be investing time in this, but at a particular time. So I have decided that whatever skills I'm going to learn related to YouTube, it will be on Saturday and Sunday. At that time I will give time to this. After that, what is the next thing is that if I want to give, or like let's say if I want to have something new, like let's say if I want to buy something, I was thinking to buy a tripod, because here as you can see that right now I'm not visible correctly or accurately, but in order to have good like angles and all those things, I need to look for tripods, other things as well, lights and all. So I thought of that to just look for right now, but if I'm going to look it right now, then I won't be able to do my live stream right away. So I thought let's decide a particular time where I can watch it. But before that, what I can do, I just take a note. Like I have these, like I have specifically take an iPad just for that, so that I can take notes. But like whatever it's easy for you, you can take notes, and after that like you can have it decided time. So what I'm trying to say here is that like if I want to buy something, I'm going to write down that what I have to buy, and then at particular time, like on Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to look for that. It's not like that, yeah, I'm going to buy it, because you have to look for that particular thing, then only you'll be able to understand what it is, how it is, if it is worth to take it, buy it or not, all those things. Sorry. So that is the thing. I'm sorry. Oh man, what I'm doing? It's my life. I'm doing like I'm acting like my usually I'll act in my life, like day to day life. So sorry for that. So what I'm trying to see here is that everything is not possible at the same time. You have to give yourself a time for a particular time. Like let's say if you want to do live stream, you can do live stream for 2 hours at that particular time. You can't do another things, so you have to keep patience to do another things. You can't do both of them simultaneously. That's the thing that is happening with me nowadays. So that is why I'm speaking about it. Besides that, that's all about. Like yesterday I wrote some of the thing. Let me check if is there anything that is useful. Useful in the sense like as I told you yesterday that whatever I want to learn, that I'm going to learn it on Saturday or Sunday. I wrote it down here, that let's say if I want to learn skills related to YouTube, then I'll only be I no, I'm going to do it on a Saturday and Sunday only. Besides that, there were some of the things that I felt that I'd like to say to you. Let me check. But something different. Thinking about it was well, like I'm not able to what is going. concurrent viewers, I can say one viewers. Oh, so I already spoke about it that whatever the things you have to do, you can't do it simultaneously. You have to give everything time. You have to keep patience. Then only you will be able to do the things. Otherwise, you are going to be overwhelmed. So that's how it works. Actually, it is working for me. I'm not saying that it works for everybody, but this is how it is working for me. So I'll try to implement like this. And one more thing, that just try to commit yourself on YouTube or create your own channel or something like that, so that you will be able to understand the things. Not understand, like you'll be able to take challenges. You will be able to do the things. That is how it will work. So let's begin our today's reading session or live streaming or challenge. I would say the challenge, so that we can understand the thing related to particular mindsight. It's a very interesting book, but in between when I'm reading at the time, I'm not able to concentrate on these because of certain certain thing in the sense, like if I'm reading, my concentration goes somewhere else, like I'm thinking about something else. And this is how it like works, because my brain is not like concentrating on it. But I do know about it after a certain period of time, and if I not if after a certain period of time, I'll get used to it and I'll be able to like take whatever I'm reading. Now as well I take whatever I'm reading, but sometimes it happens that if I'm thinking about something, then my brain is not like actively concentrating on the things, but it is just like reading. It's not like that, it's grabbing whatever I'm reading. So let's begin from here. As we read as we read yesterday till here, so let me start reading. What is the time right now? It's 9 o'clock. It's 12 minutes almost. Views, concurrent viewers. What does it mean by concurrent viewers? Let me check. Existing, happening, or done at the same time. Actually, it was concurrent viewers in the sense no people watching at the moment, but right now there is no one concurrent viewers. So it's okay. Let's start our reading now. Sorry for my cough and cold today. Also, I am feeling it like. So let me start. What role could I'll try to explain as well, like a short, not much, like a para to para, but whatever I understand, really understand, I felt that I should say. I'll say about that. What role could integration and emotion play in our definition of mind as an embodied and relational process? Now, why do people use terms such as emotional well-being or emotionally healthy or emotionally close to label mentally health states? And what about such expressions as emotional breakdown or emotionally upset? As a psychotherapist, I would work closely with many people in states of distress, states that to me seem to be characterized as either rigidity or chaos, or both. Individuals might be stuck in depression or paralyzed by fear. They would find themselves swept into manic rages or flooded with traumatic memories. Sometimes they would fluctuate between these extremes, stuck in a whirlwind of energy and information, terrified by minds out of control. One more thing I would like to say related to reading is that I'm going to read it slow in the sense so that I can understand, I can make its proper sentences, proper way of reading, so that if I'm talking or if I'm reading, then we should understand what I'm trying to read, like that. So let me read again. There are some of the things that I don't get correctly, but after a certain period of time, I do know about it that I'm gonna get all of those things. Like with my live streaming, with my reading challenge, I'll be like able to like almost do the things. But why rigidity or chaos? Why would dysfunction fall into these two categories or some combination of two? And why did these patterns keep recurring? There was something about these states that seemed antithesis of the harmony of a more integrated flow. Could these emotional shifts in our lives reflect changes in our states of integration? Perhaps the term emotion itself might be defined as a shift in our state of integration. If so, emotion researchers, whatever their approach, might be able to agree that impairment to emotional well-being are movements of the mind away from integration, and perhaps now looking even deeper, integration might be the principle underlying health at all levels of our experience, from the microcosm of our inner world to our interpersonal relationship and life in our communities. A healthy mind, complexity, and self organization. Diving again into the scientific literature, I finally came across an unlikely discipline that could be relevant to our exploration of the mind, a branch of mathematics that focuses on complex systems. Here was a plausible scientific foundation for the benefits of integration. A reason integration is a good thing in our lives. In brief, complexity theory examines systems that are capable of becoming chaotic and are open to receiving input from outside themselves. Thinking in system terms requires that we focus on the relationships among the elements that interact to compose the system. One classic example of this complex system is a cloud, a collection of water molecules capable of random distribution. It can be chaotic and which receives light and energy such as wind and heat from outside itself. It is open. Complexity theory explores the natural movement of these open and chaos susceptible system across time, explaining, for example, why clouds emerge, change shape, and dissipate. Let me check its first of all pronunciation.
Dissipate.
Yeah, dissipate. So the dissipate in the sense to like spell, not spell, with reference to a feeling or other intangible thing that disappear or cause to disappear, vanish, evaporate. Oh, dissipate means vanish, getting vanished. It seemed to me that human lives also meet this criteria. We are an open system capable of chaotic behavior. So I read on a complex system is said to regulate its own emergence. This means that the system itself has certain properties that determine how it unfolds over time. This self-organizational process, the way the system shapes its own unfolding, is built from the mathematics of complex system. There is no programmer, no program, no outside force governing how the system will flow across time. Self-organization emerges from the interaction among the basic elements that comprises the system. Again, if self-organization applies to cloud, it likely applies to other open system capable of chaos. We are certainly capable, sometimes too much, so of becoming chaotic, and we are quite open to influences outside of ourselves, from people we meet, experience we have in the world, books we read. If these ideas were relevant and true, then perhaps this was an argument for the idea that we too are capable of organization. It seemed to me that our triangle of well-being, the system of mind, brain, and relationships, might be more fully understood in these terms, and we might apply the principle of complexity and integration to creating health across each of these three aspects of our lives. That's how it works. Let me change my status. A system that moves toward complexity is the most stable and adaptive. Reading this for the first time in the literature on the mathematics of complex system, I thought, what a clear definition of well-being. I jumped up and pulled off my shelf the 1886 page psychiatrist Bible, the diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorder. I decided to open it at random to any page. There it was. Wherever I put my finger on whatever symptom of whatever dysfunction, there was an example of chaotic rigidity or both. Could it be that mental health was indeed a function of integration? When our minds move away from integration, away from harmony, are we then prone to live in chaos and or rigidity? I began to try out these hypotheses on my colleagues and students, and even though some of them found it rather new and strange, it seemed to fit their experience as clinicians. Then I started to apply it to my own work with patients, exploring ways to promote integration as framework for helping them move from illness to wellness. Just like that, fresh approaches to treatment began to emerge, some of them startingly effective. This notion of the central role of integration was and remains an amazing organizing perspective that has enabled me and now my colleagues to promote well-being in powerful new ways. I'm an acronym. Let me check its pronunciation.
Acronym.
Acronym. Acronym lover. Now, always looking for ways to make clusters of related items stick in my mind and to make them easier to teach. Now, one day in a seminar, I asked my students for suggestions about how we could remember the flow of an integrated system. Oh, Dan, that's easy. A young woman replied, just remember Saks Fifth Avenue, stable, flexible, and adaptive. I thought for a moment and then pointed to my clothes. There was the evidence that this mnemonic probably would not work for me.
Mnemonic.
Mnemonic, mnemonic, mnemonic
Mnemonic.
probably would not work for me. I also wanted to capture the sense of vitality and energy that emerges from the complexity choir at its harmonious best. Later that day, an acronym came to me. Safe, as in stable, adaptive, flexible, and energized. And then a few weeks later, after reading more into the mathematics of something called coherence, I realized that coherence was the fifth essential characteristic of integration, which fit beautifully with my own area of research, which I had found that coherent narratives, the way we make sense of our lives and free ourselves from the prison of the past, are an important predictor of relational health, as we'll explore in part 2. Part second 2. Now, the qualities of integrated flow spelled a universally memorable word, phases, for flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, and stable. We can say that any healthy complex system has a phases flow. In other words, when the self organizational movement of the system is maximizing complexity, it attains a harmonious flow that is at once flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, and stable. This is the feeling you get from our amazing and graceful complexity choir,
Choir.
choir. Now, I like to imagine the physics flow as a river. The central channel of river is the ever-changing flow of integration and harmony. One boundary of this flow is chaos. The other boundary is rigidity. These are the two banks of the river of integration. Sometimes we move toward the bank of rigidity. We feel stuck. Other days, we lean toward chaos. Now, life feels unpredictable and out of control, but in general, when we are well and at ease, we move along in this winding path of harmony, the integrated flow of flexible system. We sense the familiar but are not trapped by it. We live at the threshold of the unknown and have the courage to move into new and uncharted waters. This is living life as it unfolds, moment by moment, in a flowing journey between rigidity and chaos. This is the phases flow. And old dear John, oh, let me check. What is it? How do we pronounce it?
John O'Donohue. John O'Donohue.
John O'Donohue. John O'Donohue. Hugh. John Hugh captured the essence of this emergent flow when he said that he would love to live like a river carried by surprises of his own unfolding. In my practice of psychotherapy, 8 domains of integration have emerged as keys to personal transformation and well-being. These domains do not necessarily develop in a linear fashion, and in the chapters of part 2, you will see that they sometimes emerge in combination. How we experience a sense of self, a feeling of who we are over time, and of the patterns of energy and information that unfold in our inner lives will be directly shaped by the degree of integration in these domains. Each of us has different mind, so if you have had enough of conceptual overviews at this point, feel free to skip right to the stories in part 2. If not, here is a brief map of the domains that each of those stories will illustrate and expand on. The integration of consciousness. Now, how we focus our attention is the key to promoting integrative changes in the brain. With the integration of consciousness, we actually build the skills to stabilize attention so that we can harness the power of awareness to create choice and change. Now, this is why the integration of consciousness is the foundation for the other domains. Creating what I'll call a hub of awareness enables us to acknowledge troubling states without being taken over by them, and to see things as they are rather than being constrained by our expectations of how they should be. It also opens us to the full range of our perceptions, to information from the external world, from our bodily states, from relationships, and from the mind itself. Like what I'm trying to say here, not I'm trying to say that there is one thing that I was going into my mind that I wanted to say related to, like when I'm reading now like I felt personally I was literally being concentrated on my reading, so I felt that I'm not able to make those filler words like might be I made somewhere where I'm not conscious of that particular reading. But like as I noticed myself, like I was not doing that filler words while reading. While speaking as well, there are lots of times that I'm not making filler words, as well as I'm not trying to make the sentence in the sense what happens when I'm trying to make a sentence at that particular time. If I didn't get something, then I say like, or I try to fill the gap so that I don't feel like I'm not talking. So besides, not besides that, except that I'll try to stop myself, take a pause, will think about that. Like it's not very big pause, it's kind of like a very millisecond pause. In that pause I can think of the thing that I have to speak in next sentence. That is how it works. Oh, not works, that is how I'm like trying to improve myself. I'm like the way you will concentrate on your, like whatever you are doing, your brain will try to figure it out that what it has to do. And in order to make it like good things, in order to make your brain to do good things, you can concentrate and you can say to your brain that you don't have to do this, and your brain won't do that same thing. This is happening with me. So let's read again. We'll explore how the integration of consciousness can help regulate mood and emotion, calm internal storms, and cultivate a more flexible and stable mind. The lessons learned from stabilizing the mind through the integration of consciousness will be applied to all of the challenges of real life we will encounter throughout the book. For millions of years, our left brain and right brain have had separate but complementary functions. The right side develops early and is the realm of imagery, holistic thinking, non-verbal language, autobiographical memory, and a host of other processes. Our left brain develops later in life and is responsible for logic, spoken and written language, linearity, lists, and literal thinking. If the linkage between the sides is blocked, one side may dominate, and we can lose the creativity, richness, and complexity that results from both sides working together. Harnessing the power of neuroplasticity to integrate the brain can give us give us a newly coherent sense of our life story and deeper insights into the non-verbal world of ourselves and others. In chapter 6, we will meet an individual who for nearly a century has lived a life leaning to the left with specific strategies to help develop his right hemisphere. This man was able to come to experience the energy and the vitality of newly integrated life. Our nervous system is vertically distributed, ascending from the body proper through the brainstem and limbic areas, finally arriving at the cortex from head to toe and back again. Vertical integration links these differentiated areas into a functional whole. Vertical integration can be impaired in response to trauma or in adaptation to living in an emotional desert. In this cut-off state, we ignore what our senses and bodily sensation are telling us and live a life of flattened feelings and perception. Bringing our sensation into awareness enables intuition to blossom and sometimes can offer life saving information. Even after years of living only above her shoulders, the anxious and disconnected woman we meet in chapter 7 was able to find relief by learning to become open to the sensations of her body beyond being able to live with more vitality and good soul. Let me check its pronunciation.
Gusto.
Gusto, vitality and gusto. She also learned to tap into the deep source of intuition and wisdom that become available through vertical integration. We process and encode our experiences in layers of memory. The first layer, implicit memory, begins in the womb and predominates throughout our early years. From our emotions, perceptions, actions, and bodily sensations, we create mental models that shape our expectations about the way the world works. All of this occurs without effort or intention, and our implicit mental models can continue to shape how we act without our awareness. The puzzle pieces of implicit memory are later assembled into explicit memories. The factual and autobiographical information of which we are aware, the more we can shine the light of mindsight on the freeze floating puzzle pieces of the past, the implicit memories, and allow them to become explicit, the more we can free ourselves to live fully in the present and have new choices about how we live our lives. In part 2, we will meet many people whose impaired integration of memory prevent them from achieving coherence in their lives. Sometimes an overwhelming event called trauma can cause a person to remain in this unintegrated state, resulting in a tendency toward either rigid states of avoidance or intrusive
Intrusive.
intrusive states of chaos. I'm checking it again. Chaos. Because I want to have pronounce it.
Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos. Focusing Mindsight's lens on these layers of memory can be an essential step in the resolution of trauma and the integration of the brain's memory functions. Narrative integration. We make sense of our lives by creating stories that view our left hemisphere's narrator function with the autobiological memory storage of our right hemisphere. Research has revealed that the best predictor of the security of our children's attachment to us is our ability to narrate the story of our own childhood in a coherent fashion. By detecting blockages to narrative integration and then doing the necessary work to overcome them, we can free ourselves and ultimately our children from the cross generational patterns that we want to avoid in creating. We will review how research findings and clinical experience with attachment illuminate the varied forms of narratives we have and how strategies to promote integration can move this cohesive but constructive life stories toward coherence and flexibility. When we are able to make sense of our lives in a deep, integrative manner, what emerges is a coherent narrative of our lives. Stage integration. Each of us experiences distinct states of being that embody our fundamental drives, needs, closeness and solitude, autonomy and independence, caregiving and mastery, among others. Now, these states may also conflict with one another, sometimes painfully and confusingly. Mindsight permits us to embrace these states as healthy dimensions of a layered lives instead of as a part of ourselves that we need to reject or suppress to try to achieve inner stability. With state integration, we can move beyond past patterns of adaptation and denial to become open to our needs and able to meet them in different ways at different times. We will explore how facing some of our many states is an essential first step in differentiating our multiple cells. The key to integration is then to embrace this distinction rather than to attempt to deny their existence. The power of state integration to release us from the patterns of shame and terror that can paralyze us will be revealed in one man's journey of transformation. What I'm thinking here while reading, like why I'm not getting any viewers, I don't know why I'm thinking. Even though my main motive is to read only because as like even if I'm not doing live streaming, that doesn't mean I'm not reading. I have to read at least for 3 hours. So for that particular 3 hours, I'm taking 2 hours reading on live streaming. But I don't know why I'm in my brain. It is getting that why I'm not getting any views. Why I'm not getting any views? But it's okay. I'm not gonna get any views or something. You're watching it like after this live streaming you'll get to know like you have to go through these processes because if you don't have something solid, like I don't know if it is solid or not, like I'm reading and sharing thoughts with people. I'm trying to show people that everything is possible if they try to do. Like right now I'm nothing, like you can see there is zero views. In future it could be any views, like I don't know like how many people would be reading with me simultaneously or will be following me. It depends on the things, but I'm just trying to improve myself. I'm just trying to do the things that will make me more better. So that is why I'm doing these all. But even though like yeah, we are doing like you expect to have more like viewers, subscribers, like I'm expecting to have like lots of subscribers within 1 days, but it's kind of we don't know like what will work or what we don't. Like we can figure it out, but we have to see or analyze the things. Let's say if I'm doing this live, what people likes, who where the people lives, who likes this kind of content. How can I throw this content to them, throw in the sense how can I show this content to them so that they can follow me. Likewise there are lots of things that matters. So within 1 day I can't expect the things. What I'm trying, why I'm trying to say this, because in my brain there is something that is calling, saying me that why you didn't get any views, there should be some views. But it's okay. As I'm doing live streaming, as I'm reading, I'm utilizing my time. I'm not like completely devoting my time to YouTube that oh I should get this, that or that if I'm not gonna get this, like what will happen to me. It's not like that. I'm just trying to like do this as well as do this in the sense reading, do this in the sense what I say, do this in the sense doing live streaming or YouTube channel. So just likewise I'll be able to like grow myself. I'm not expecting or like something related to YouTube that I'll be after certain period of time I'll be like a great YouTuber or something. It could be I can be or I cannot be. I don't have like future sense, complete sense that I'm gonna be like this. But I don't know about if I follow certain things which makes us to grow on YouTube, then definitely I'm going to grow. But if those things are not included in my YouTube content, then it could be that it will take some time. Light goes like my light gets turned off, like it's like problem here. So I'm just thinking I'll buy one more thing so that I cannot be have this interruption. Like if I'm going to do this interruption, then what happens, like we think that it will quick, but it takes at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and 10 and 15 minutes it's very important, as you know. mm, I want to like reduce his size. Okay, might be you'll be able to see it. No, no. First of all, I'd like to check if there is its properties. No, okay. Oh, I have to take these so that I can not this one. I have to take these so that I can understand what is happening here. Okay, so I have to do these so that you can also see. Now you'll be able to see it. I have to these. No, I can do my live streaming. See, my light came back. It happens a lot of times. So sorry for interruption in between, but this is how it works. Sometimes, like I have to do something about it. Like sorry to interruption, but after a certain period of time, like all things will be good. Good in the sense I'll make it good. That's what I'm saying. I have to check it again. Go here. I'll do it so that I can look. I have to update my screen. Go into properties. Select screen that you want to share with. Say OK. Then video capture. Increase it. That's it. Now I'm okay to go. If I go here, yesterday I was getting good viewers. Again, I'm thinking of the same thing, but it's okay. Like it's okay. Now it is good. So I can go again here. I can start reading. So let's start reading again. Might be my background or some these. I'm just taking myself on live streaming at how it works when uh, I'm not able to like work on this at the time, how it works or how it behaves or something like that. So let's start reading. Now this is the V of all of well-being. At best, our resonance circuits enables us to feel the new internal world within our others, while they in turn views us into their inner world and carry us with them. Even when we are not together, Mindsight can help us to see how past adoptions are restricting current relationships and then allow us to open ourselves safely to others. Then we can connect more intimately in relationship while still retaining our own sense of identity and freedom. We can love and be loved without giving up ourselves. We'll see how couples lost in confusion, and a misunderstanding, struggling with rigid burdens of defense, or prone to chaotic outbursts of disillusionment, can be taught how to detect their own brainstem driven states of reactivity and move their nervous systems toward the receptive state necessary for true and lasting connection. Knowing how the past has shaped the present through synaptic changes early in life, couples can then ease the hostility that often surrounds their dysfunctional relationships. We'll see how people can use mindsight to guide their way back to a life of passion and compassion as they promote integration within and between themselves. Temporal integration. Uncertainty, impermanence, immortality. These are the profound challenges presented to us by the prefrontal cortex, which gives us both our sense of time and our ability, apparently unique among animals, to foresee that death will undo us and those we love. Obsessive impulsive disorder reveals how our hardwired survival drives seeks control, sometimes to the point of paralyzing and terrorizing us. Temporal integration enables us to live with more ease and to find comforting connections in the face of uncertainty. We'll explore how even young people afflicted with anxiety about death and uncertainty, manifested in obsession or in existential dread, can find a way to integrate these temporal prefrontal issues into their lives and grow stronger because of them. Mindsight and freedom. Now, within each of us is an inherent drive toward health, push toward integration, but life happens and we may sometimes find that integration is blocked. This blockage can come from impairments to linkage, as in unresolved trauma. Blockage can also arise from impairments to differentiation, whether as fallout from childhood neglect or as a result of various learning disabilities and developmental difficulties, or both differentiation and linkage may be impaired. Mindsight is the skill that can lead us back to integration. Now, Michelangelo, if we are not able to pronounce it, you can see its pronunciation.
Michelangelo.
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 Michelangelo is supposed to have said that his great task as a sculptor was to liberate the figure from the stones. Just so, our task is to find the impediments to the eight domain of integration and deliberate the mind's natural drive to heal, to integrate mind, brain, and a relationship in the triangle of well-being. As these eight domains of integration are created and developed, a new dimension of interconnection, which I have come to describe as transpiration or breathing across, seems to emerge. I have seen this happen time and again in patients who have done the work of Mindsight. Their identity expands. They become aware that they are part of much layer whole. In various research, exploration of happiness and wisdom, this sense of interconnection seems to be at the heart of living a life of meaning and purpose. Now, this is the promise of Mindsight and integration. Part 2. Jonathan was a sophomore in a high school. Sophomore.
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 Sophomore. Sophomore.
Sophomore in high school. Just turning 16, 16. When I first met him, he shuffled into the room, his jeans precariously low on his hips and his lanky blonde hair covering his eyes, and told me that he had felt bad and down over the last 2 months with bouts of carrying that seemed to come out of nowhere. In response to my questions, he reported that he had a close group of friends at school and though his classes were demanding, nothing in particular had changed either academically or socially that would account for his dark moods. Life at home had been fine, he said with a bland, almost dismissive tone. His older sister and younger brother were giving him their usual grief, and his parents were being their typical irritating, irritating.
Irritating.
Irritating cells. Nothing out of the ordinary for 16-year-old boy, it seemed. But something was very wrong. Jonathan boots after years and feeling down were accompanied by bursts of rage he could not control. Ordinary incidents such as his sister being late for pickup at carpool or his brother using his guitar without permission could lead to screaming anger. This lowering of his reactivity threshold concerned not only his parents and me, but Jonathan as well. He told me sheepishly
sheepishly,
sheepishly, sheepishly, that these explosions of rage, while not new, were getting worse. Now they were beginning to scare him. Similar episodes had occurred several times since he began middle school at 13, but Jonathan's parents had attributed these times of emotional instability to adolescence, just a part of being a teenager, and hadn't made much of them until now. When he told them he sometimes felt that he couldn't go on living, they brought him to me for an evaluation. What shaped the current of our sea? Now what shapes the currents of our seas inside? When we hit rough waters, is there anything we can do to calm the storm? In this chapter, I'll explore how we can use focused, conscious attention first to sense, and then to alter the wild flow of energy and information that can plague our lives. This focused attention permits us to use awareness to create choice and change. Now, this is the domain of the integration of consciousness. The term mood refers to the overall tone of our internal state. Now, we express this emotional baseline through our affect, the external signals that reveal our feelings, and by way of our actions and reactions. Simply sitting with Jonathan in my office, I could begin to pick up his feelings of despair and depletion. As he readily admitted, his down mood also included the tearfulness, irritability, difficulty sleeping, and decreased appetite. He also admitted that his feelings of hopelessness and despair were sometimes accompanied by suicidal thoughts. But I was able to determine that he had made no attempts and had no plans, at least at the moment, to hurt himself. In a psychiatric textbook, this cluster of symptoms would point to a probable diagnosis of major depression. But as a clinician, I wanted to keep an open mind about other potentially relevant issues. Jonathan's family history included both drug addiction in an uncle on his mother's side and a manic depressive illness, also known as bipolar disorder, in a grandfather on his father's side. This made me cautious about a premature diagnosis of only depression. And because of the family history of drug abuse, Jonathan's family had already been screening him regularly for drug use. The tests were consistently negative, and Jonathan himself asked, "Why should I take things that would make me more up and down? They just mess me up even more than I already am." I was struck by his insight, and I believed him. The abrupt explosion that took him down the low road might signal the irritability that is a hallmark of major depression, especially in children, but they could also be a symptom of bipolar illness, which often runs in families and can emerge in childhood and adolescence. In its initial presentation, bipolarity can be in indistinguishable from what is called unipolar depression, in which the mood disturbance moves in one direction only, toward down, depressed states. In bipolar disorders, however, these depressed states alternate with up, or more accurately activated state of mania. Adults and adolescents with mania can experience rapid thinking, an inflated sense of self-importance and power, decreased need for sleep, increased appetite for both food and sex, excessive spending, and irrational behavior behaviors. Making the distinction between unipolar and bipolar mood disorder is crucial for proper treatment. So I often get a second opinion from a from a colleague regarding the diagnosis. In Jonathan's case, we also got a third. Both confirmed my concern that Jonathan's mood disturbance might be emerging bipolar disorder. Described in brain terms, bipolar disorder is a condition characterized by severe dysregulation, meaning difficulty in maintaining equilibrium in the face of day life. The sense no one gets as a clinician is that there is a problem with the coordination and balance of the brain's mood regulating circuits. As you have seen in the first minding and brain section, our subcortical regions influence our emotional states, altering our moods, coloring our feelings, and shaping our motivations and behaviors. In the prefrontal cortex, sitting atop the subcortical areas, regulates how we bring these emotional states into equilibrium. The regulatory circuits of the brain can malfunction for a number of reasons, some of them related to genetics or the constitutional, not learned aspects of temperament. One current theory is that people with bipolar disorder may have a structural difference in the way their regulatory prefrontal circuits connect with the lower, emotion creating and mood shaping limbic areas. This anatomical difference, perhaps established by way of genetics, infection, or exposure to neurotoxin, may lead to the unbridled firing of lower limbic areas. When revved up, these subcortical circuits shape the rapid thinking, heightened appetites, and overall driven quality of the manic state. While mania may appear attractive and pleasurable to an observer, and the person experiencing it may indeed enjoy some periods of euphoria, he is also likely to have periods of agitation, irritability, and restlessness that feel out of control and desperate. And when the dysfunction in the subcortical circuit goes in the opposite direction, thought slows down, mood becomes depressed, the vital functions of sleep and appetite are disturbed, and the persons may withdraw almost entirely from social contact. When impaired prefrontal regulation results in failure to bring these two streams of the emotional continuum into equilibrium, both the manic and the depressive states can be experienced as extremely distressing. The standard treatment for bipolar disorder is medication, which has clear benefits for many patients. However, the side effects of the medication used for bipolar disorder, called mood stabilizing agents, are much more significant than those of the antidepressants. Those of antidepressants used for unipolar depression. These risks present a serious set of consideration for child psychiatrists, making us hesitant to rush into the more long-term medication called for by a bipolar diagnosis. Furthermore, if someone with undiagnosed bipolar disorder presents first with depression and is given an anti antidepressant medication, their clinical intervention can actually trigger the one set of manic episodes. It may also make the individual prone to an intense form of the disorder with rapid cycling between mania and depression, and sometimes the emergence of a mixed state of both extreme at the same time. Taking all of these concerns into account, I asked Jonathan's parents to come in with him, and we discussed the issues openly, including the role of medications in the treatment of serious psychiatric disturbance. Many clinicians focus primarily on the concept of chemical imbalance and how various neurotransmitters such as serotonin or noradrenaline adrenaline take you up or down. Emotional regulation in the brain gives patients a large view of the problem and what we can do about it. I introduced Jonathan and his family to the hand model of the brain and described the prefrontal region's crucial role. We didn't know why these circuits were not working optimally in Jonathan. I told them we just knew that his severe mental storms likely correlated with such prefrontal dysfunctions. What can be done to help those circuits work well? Jonathan's mother asked astutely. One theory about depression, I said, is that the brain's ability to change in response to experience is shut down. In terms of our river of integration. We can see this as necessity. Antidepressants such as the familiar serotonin medication, the selective serotonin reuptake. I'm getting itching on my nose. I don't know why.
Reuptake.
Reuptake inhibitors or SSRIs and mood stabilizers such as lithium seem to help reignite neuroplasticity. They help change the brain both by altering the way neurotransmitter function and by enhancing the brain's ability to learn from experience. As in therapy, medication and psychotherapy combined often make an excellent treatment strategy for major mood disorders. Even psychotherapy alone has been shown to change the way the brain functions. In fact, I told them some recent findings have revealed that chronically relapsing episodes of depression, like the ones that Jonathan might be experiencing, may actually be prevented by a form of therapy based on an ancient technique called mindfulness. At the time Jonathan came to me, I was in the midst of writing a book that reviewed existing neuroscience research on mindfulness. Being mindful, having mindful awareness is often defined as a way of intentionally paying attention to the present moment without being swept up by judgments practiced in the East and the West. In ancient times and in modern societies, mindful awareness techniques help people move toward well-being by training the mind to focus on moment-to-moment experience. Now, people sometimes hear the word mindfulness and think religion, but the reality is that focusing our attention in this way is biological process that promotes health, a form of brain hygiene, not a religion. Various religions may encourage his health promoting practice, but learning the skill of mindful awareness is simply a way of cultivating what we have defined as integration of consciousness. As I told Jonathan and his parents, research had clearly demonstrated that mindfulness based therapy could help prevent relapse in people with chronic depression. I had found no comparable published research on using mindfulness for those with bipolar disorder. However, I had reason to be cautiously optimistic. Controlled studies had shown that mindfulness could be a potent part of successful treatment for many conditions, including anxiety, drug addiction, board treatment, and relapse prevention and borderline personality disorder, whose hallmark is chronic dysregulation. In fact, one of the first studies to reveal that psychotherapy could actually change the brain. A study of obsessive compulsive disorder done at UCLA used mindfulness as a component of the treatment. In addition, in our own pilot study at the Mindful Awareness Research Center, also a UCLA, we found that mindfulness training was highly effective for adults and teens who had trouble paying attention at work or school. Would Jonathan's mood disorder respond not research and intervention? The family's cooperative stance, coupled with their concerns about medication side effects, made me think it was worth trying. I sought Jonathan's and his parents' informed consent, keeping in mind his recent suicidal thoughts and the serious risk of untreated depression, whether bipolar, unipolar or bipolar. Now we selected to do a trial of mindfulness training, agreeing that if it did not begin to work with a few weeks time to reduce his suffering and stabilize his mood, we would turn to the next phase of treatment, which would probably include medication. As I would explained to Jonathan and his parents, I had explained to Jonathan and his parents The brain changes physically in response to experience, and new mental skills can be acquired with intentional effort. With focused awareness and concentration, experience activates neural firing, which in turn leads to the production of protein that enable new connections to be made among neurons. In the process called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is possible throughout the lifespan, not just in childhood. Besides focused attention, other factors that enhance neuroplasticity include aerobic exercise, novelty, and emotional arousal. Aerobic exercise seems to benefit not only our cardiovascular and musculoskeletal systems but our nervous system as well. We learn more effectively when we are physically active. Novelty or exposing ourselves to new ideas and experiences promotes the growth of new connections among existing neurons and seems to stimulate the growth of myelin, the fatty sheet that speeds nerve transmissions. Novelty can even stimulate the growth of new neurons, and finding that took a long time to win acceptance in the scientific community. I'm getting very much itching on my nose, but I get one more thing here that I should take, or I should commit myself, or I should take challenge for exercising every day on YouTube. Like I'm not gonna do you like live streaming, but a short, I can say not introduction, short summary of my exercise, what I did and all those things and how I felt. Like I'm ready because I'm telling this here. If you want to grow your brain, if you want to grow your brain's plasticity, then you have to experience new thing in the sense, let's say if you want to learn something new, you can do that. But besides that, if you do exercise, it will help your brain to create some of the things in the sense like it said protein or something like that to grow, and if it grows then definitely your plasticity will grow, and just because of that your brain will be very active. It will be like very like good, I can say. Where we focus our attention channels our cognitive resources, directly activating neural firing in associated areas of the brain. For example, research has also shown that in animals rewarded for noticing sounds, the brain's auditory centers expanded greatly, while in those rewarded for attending to sights, the visual areas grew. The implication is that neuroplasticity is activated by attention itself, not only by sensory input. Emotional arousal may also be a factor in the activation that occurs when animals are rewarded for noticing sounds or sights, and the same factor may be involved in activating neuroplasticity when we participate in an activity that is important or meaningful to us. But when we are not engaged emotionally, the experience is less memorable and the structure of the brain is less likely to change. Other evidence of brain reshaping as a result of focusing comes from brain scans of violinists. The scans show dramatic growth and expansion in region of the cortex that represent the left hand, which must finger the string precisely. Often at very high speed. Other studies have shown that the hippocampus, which is vital for spatial memory, is enlarged in taxi drivers. The ability to focus the mind is what I wanted Jonathan to acquire through mindfulness training. But what exactly does mindful awareness training stimulate? And why would mindfulness, as research has shown, help with such a wide variety of difficulties? From mood to attention, addiction to personality disorders. Finally, could mindfulness training help Jonathan with his serious problem with dysregulation? In summary, here is what modern clinical research, 2500 years of contemplative practice, recent neuroscience investigation, and my own experience all suggest mindfulness is a form of mental activity that trains the mind to become aware of awareness itself and to pay attention to one's own intention. As researchers have defined it, mindfulness requires paying attention to the present moment from a stance that is non-judgmental and non-reactive. It teaches self-observation. Practitioners are able to describe with words the internal seascapes of the mind. At the heart of this process, I believe, is a form of internal tuning in to oneself that enables people to become their own best friend. And just as our attunement to our children promotes a healthy, secure attachment, turning it to the self also promotes a foundation for resilience and flexibility. Today, I read a lot better, like there were not any filler gaps, no filler words, as well as in talking as well. There I can say that I'm speaking very well than earlier, but there could be so many things that is same, so many things not so many things. It's almost all the things which are same, like very rare things that I changed. Like you can see there still my not behavior actually, my body language is same, my like way of talking is also same. Like what I'm trying to say is here that yeah, there are some of the things that could change if you try to focus on the things. Like I'm not getting frustrated, I'm not getting nervous, my throat is not getting tied up. Like it's been 1 and 11 minutes, 1 hour and 11 minutes, even though like it's like I'm able to speak, I'm able to like have conversation with you, I'm able to read very goodly. So I have to see myself that after a certain period of time, let's say 1 month, what will be the changes I will be having. I'll be looking at my YouTube videos and that will be awesome. So that is why I created the YouTube channel, to make myself grow, as well as if people like it, then definitely I'll grow in YouTube as well. So both perspective, I tried it out. I try not I tried it out. I'm trying. And let's see how it goes. I'll try to improve YouTube as well. Like it's kind of skill that I'm going to learn. And if you are going to learn something new, your brain plasticity gets power. Power in the sense it gets strengthened. So just because of that, I'll try the things and we'll see how it works. I'll try to implement, like as you can see the background and all the lights. I'll like try to improve all of those things so that I can feel good as a good YouTuber. In my perspective, I don't know about people. Like it will take time in order to people have it. Like let's say if someone wants to follow me, then I needs to be at least very good at things, like at least for reading or at least for explaining the things or at least for communication. Likewise, if I'm able to be good at it, then definitely people will like and will follow, and my subscriber will, like I'll be gaining more subscribers. That's how it will work. At the moment, I don't see any people who are watching it. But definitely, after a certain period of time, will some people watch. If some people don't watch, nothing will happen. I'm still reading. I'll also be still reading, but gaining some strength in myself, in my reading, in my communication skill, so that I'll be growing. Okay, let me read it. The way that mindfulness seemed to overlap with the process of secure attachment and with the key functions of the prefrontal region that I discussed in part first made a powerful impression on me. It seemed that the act of attunement, internal in mindfulness or interpersonal in attachment, might lead to the healthy growth of middle prefrontal fiber. Shortly after I had this realization, I read a report of ongoing research that showed that the middle prefrontal region were indeed thicker in the mindfulness practitioners. So this is the hypothesis that led me to offer mindfulness training to Jonathan, that the practice would help the parts of his brain and that regulate mood to grow and strengthen, stabilizing his mind and enabling him to achieve emotional equilibrium and resilience. Yeah, it is not that I believed he had a history of the insecure attachment, but rather that mindful awareness might directly stimulate the growth of the cluster of neurons called the resonance circuits, which I discussed in the third minding the brain segment. These neural circuits, which included middle prefrontal areas, enable us to resonate resonate with others, and to regulate ourselves. It is here that we can see the connection between attunement and regulation, internal and interpersonal forms of attunement. Each leads to the growth of the regulatory circuits of the brain. When we have attunement, either interpersonally or internally, we become more balanced and regulated, helping Jonathan achieve this form of internal attunement with mindfulness practice was our goal. This would take focus, time, and careful monitoring to be sure his underlying dysregulation did not worsen or endanger him or others. Jonathan was eager to find a way to ease his suffering. Normal adolescence is hard enough. Negotiating the changes in one's body, the emerging and sometimes overwhelming feeling of sexuality, changes in self identity and relationships, academic demands, uncertainties about the future, and the stress in family life in anticipation of leaving home. The adolescent brain itself is in flux. The prefrontal region, including the middle areas, do not mature fully until well into the mid 20s. Not only in the brain exposed to dramatic hormonal changes, but it undergoes genetically programmed neural pruning sprees, the removal of neural connections to hone down the various circuits, preserving those that are used and discarding the unused, so that the brain becomes more specialized and efficient. The normal remodeling of the brain, the normal remodeling of the brain is intensified by stress, and it can unmask or create problems during this vulnerable period. Now, this makes the nine middle prefrontal functions, from fear modulation to empathy and moral awareness, somewhat unpredictable, so that emotional self regulation can be challenging for any teenager. Jonathan's mood dysregulation went well beyond normal adolescent turmoil. Most adolescents do not get to the point of suicidal thinking or to a place where their unpredictable moods create significant chaos in their lives. These eruptive and painful periods had created self doubt in Jonathan. He felt he could no longer depend on his own mind, that his mind was betraying him. It seemed to me that becoming his own best friend was exactly what Jonathan needed. If we could help him grow the integrative fibers of his middle prefrontal cortex, he might be able to achieve more of the emphasis flow I discussed in chapter 4. So that he could find a more harmonious path between the blanks of rigidity and chaos. Chaos, 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 chaos. Integration of consciousness might help stabilize his mind. Now, I explained all of this to Jonathan and reminded him that with regular exercise, a good diet, and sleep, he could set the foundation of promoting neuroplasticity. Jonathan and I made a verbal agreement that he would follow this prescription for health. It's amazing how often these basics of brain health are ignored. Exercise is an underrated treatment, and now we know that aerobics not only release the endorphins that can combat our down mood, but also promotes the growth of the brain. Eating regularly and well, balancing the various foods groups, and avoiding excessive sugar and stimulants can help to reduce mood swings and sleep. Though in short supply and difficult at times to initiate. For Jonathan is a healer that can be approached in a systematic way. Sleep hygiene includes setting up a calming routine before bed, minimizing caffeine or other stimulation once evening approaches. If not before, shutting off digital stimulation an hour or two before sleeping, and quiet activities such as talking a bath, listening to soothing music, or reading a book can all help the body as well as the mind to settle. With this brain hygiene basic in our contract, now we could move into our specific efforts to promote integration. Again, there is one more thing that I would like to say here. which explained that before sleeping as well you don't need to like see your digital like mobile phone or something, so try out like just in the sense reading book. I'll try to read book, but I don't know, like I'm just saying this, sharing with you so that I can remember this. It might be I'll read physical book, book in the sense nowadays I'm reading like e-books, e-books at night. If I'm going to read same e-books in mobile, iPad, then it will be like the same thing I'm doing. Like I don't have to watch or see digital things, but I'm still seeing the digital things, so don't it will not be good. So just because of that, like I'm going to read the books at night, but it's not commitment. I'm just making the word so that in future, like when I feel that like I have so much willpower now, I can do this and that as well. Then I at the time I will implement it. Right now, like I'm focusing on streaming and a 3 hour book read. So might be it will take some time to incorporate in my like a routine so that I will not feel it like I have to do it. It will be like I have to eat a food the same way. Like to eat a food, you don't have to say yourself or you don't have to force yourself. You just go and eat it. That's it. My eyes. Like I'm getting like I feel drowsy in the sense of feeling sleepy. But I'll reach and I'll complete my 2 hours. No, I don't want to like I'm not thinking to do that I have to complete it, I have to complete it, but I'm more focused on my body language now. Now in this is today. Like I'm not focusing on that I have to complete my 2 hours today. Somewhere it's very less than yesterday. Yesterday I was feeling that I really wanted to complete my 2 hours and want to go from here. But today I'm feeling, oh, I'm reading very well, I'm talking with you, but I think there is one more thing that I'm feeling sleepy. That's different thing, but yeah, I'm feeling to talk, I'm feeling to read. So yeah, that's amazing. I really want to improve my communication skill in the sense I really want to have a good way of explaining the things so that another person, whoever is listening, they should able to understand me, they should able to get what I'm trying to say, whatever I'm thinking, I should make them feel like that. Then only it's worth saying the things. Like as I read in some of the books, like whatever you are going to say, people will understand based on their experiences. So I'll try to find their experience in the sense I'll try to understand another person as much as possible and will speak as well so that they can get what I'm trying to say. So basically it's good at dealing with people, so you can also implement the things. Now it was now it was time to use the focus of Jonathan's mind. One more thing, like today I'm not talking much because I'm reading more. I'm getting yawning because I'm feeling sleepy. I don't know why. Even I slept today like almost in 6 hours 30 minutes, I guess. Yeah. Even though I'm getting sleepy, sometimes it happens if you're like doing something that you like. I can't say don't like, but that it's kind of you are sitting for a long or something like that. Then might be it feels like oh you are feeling sleepy or something like that. But it's okay. I'm getting very much itch on my face. I don't know why. Like there are lots of time I'm like doing this just because of my like I'm having very much itchness. I'm seeing live at the same time like myself. Like it's going to I guess 1 minute back. But it is just showing that how I'm behaving. I'll take my video and I'll try to improve that things as well. I'll like do something about that so that I can't do these things. It's like my habit, I can say. I'm used to do this. Like if you are being Like I have seen the lives of other people's, like celebrities and all those things. They don't do such things. I don't know how they try to like stop. But now, like I'm doing these and that and like all those things. Like I'm not even like thinking that I'm live. I'm thinking I'm live, but it's kind of like these things that happening. See, like I'm like doing like this, that, dude. Like I'm like literally doing very different things, but it's okay. It's my like I'm learning. I have this YouTube channel just for learning myself. Like and again, yeah, if it grows, then it will be good thing. But definitely, the basic purpose is to grow myself as much as possible. So I'm doing that. So yeah, if you're watching this after this live stream, then it's very good. Thank you for watching it. But I have to read it now. Now it was time to use the focus of Jonathan's mind to change his brain. We began a series of skills training sessions to help him develop mindful awareness. The idea was that the techniques I taught him would create a temporary state of brain activation each time they were repeated, induced regularly. These temporary states would become long term, enduring traits. With practice, a mindful state becomes a mindful trait. A picture in my own mind helped me make a sense of the techniques now I'm about to describe to you. I call it the mind's wheel of awareness. I drew it for Jonathan as we started our work together. Picture a bicycle wheel with a hub at the center and a spoke radiant to the outer rim. And the rim represents anything we can pay attention to. Such as our thoughts and feelings, or our perception of our outside world, or the sensation from the body. The hub represents the inner place of the mind from which we become aware. The spokes represents how we direct our attention to a particular part of the rim. Our awareness resides in the hub, and we focus on the various objects of our attention as points on the rim. The hub can be seen as a visual metaphor for our prefrontal cortex. To experience this directly, now let's turn to the first exercise I offered to Jonathan. There is one more thing that I learned by myself by this live streaming. So whatever I am saying to myself, like I don't have to do this, I'll make sure that this thing will not be done again. So I'm not doing those things. It is happening like that. I'll check my live streaming as well and see whatever I said and if I did it or not. But like personally, I am feeling like I didn't repeated those things. That's very awesome. And again, my YouTube channel is making me grow in my personality. That's very awesome. And if you are really watching it, then try creating your own channel. Try uploading videos. Try doing live streamings. It doesn't matter if it is going viral or how you look. If you really want to think like people shouldn't see yourself, then you can create your private live streaming where you only be there, and will try to figure yourself that what things you need, what things you don't need in yourself. And that way you will be able to like understand yourself more, your behavior, your body language, your way of explanation, and that is how you will be able to grow yourself. Like it's kind of suggestion. Oh man, I just blink my eye, and I'm reading a blink book. I don't know why it happens, but it's good. It's good. No one watching. It's good. Yeah. Over thousands of years of human history, from east to west, virtually all cultures have developed some form of practice that harness the power of mindfulness to cultivate well-being. These include body and energy centered practice such as yoga, tai chi, and qigong. Devotional practices such as centering prayer or chanting and various forms of sitting and walking meditation that were first introduced into the West of Buddhist practitioners. I elected to teach Jonathan a practice called insight meditation, both because I had learned it myself from experienced teachers and because it had the most research backing up its potential to help develop the brain. The other techniques might have been just a reasonable starting point. But I felt most comfortable with this one. Here is a transcript of the meditation exercise that I teach my patients and students. Feel free to read through these and then try it out if you are in a comfortable place that will allow you to dive into the sea inside. It's helpful to be able to become aware of your own mind. That can be a very useful awareness to have. It not much happen in school or in our family life that lets us come to know ourselves. So we are now going to spend a couple of minutes now doing just that. Now let yourself get settled. It's good seat with your back straight if you can. Now feet planted flat on the floor, legs uncrossed. If you need to lie flat on the floor, that's okay too. And with your eyes open at first, just try this. And try letting your attention go to the center of the room. And now just notice your attention as you let it go to the far wall. And now follow your attention at comes back to the middle of the room. And then bring it up close as if you were holding a book at reading distance. Notice how your attention can go to very different places. Now let your attention go inward. You might let your eyes close at this point. Get a sense inside yourself of your body in space where you are sitting in the room. And now let yourself just become aware of the sound around you. That sense of sound can fill your awareness. Pause for some moments. Let your awareness now find the breath wherever you feel it most prominently. Whether again my light goes off, and sorry for that. Again I have to like make things like it will not take much time because I'm used to it now. Like I have to go here, I have to select my screen, I have to right click so that I can select properties, and then it's okay. Now it's boom, that's it. Now I can like change my here, like it's okay. No, it's fine, we can read. Again my nose is itching so much, this is not good. I'm watching myself as well in OBS so that how I am behaving or whatever it is. So now I can read here is this, like I'm able to see my live as well as I need to check these. Okay, I'm able to see myself as well, it's live. It was disconnected, not disconnected actually, my like power gets cut off just because I have to read on my what we say, it's MacBook screen, not monitor screen. So I'm gonna read, like as you can see I'm here, the camera is up there, but my microphone my is here. So I'm gonna read. I'm just thinking that if the power come back, then I'll start reading over uh, monitor itself. But okay, it's okay, it's fine. Like views, two views, someone came and go. I don't know when someone came and went, or might be it's right away. Who is watching it? Whoever is watching it, please do comment so that I can understand who is it. Someone new, but it's okay. Experienced teachers, and because here experienced teachers, and because it had the most research backing up its potential to help develop the brain. Other techniques might have been just as reasonable starting point, but I felt most comfortable with this one. Here is a transcript of the mediation exercise that I teach my patients and students. Feel free to read through this and then write out if you are in comfortable place that will allow you to dive into the scene insights as we read it earlier as well. Let me read it again. It's helpful to be able to become aware of your own mind. That can be a very useful awareness. to have it. No much happens in school or in our family life that lets us come to know ourselves. So we are going to spend a couple of minutes now doing just that. Again, I'm going to connect my monitor because my light came back and I connected it. We will open another monitor. Is not getting like okay, it's there now. I'll go here. I'll capture second screen properties. I just have to update. It's updated and it's okay. Now I'll update these as well. Sorry for interruption. It's for just only like 1 to 2 minutes. That's it. It's done. Now we can read where we were. Like I can see two views, but I can't see on my graph like if is there anyone who is watching it or not. But it's okay. So it was saying us that we should focus on our like. It is just example, not example. I can say practice or I'm not getting a word, but it's kind of practice. Now let your attention go inward. You might let your eyes close at this point. Get a sense inside yourself of your body in a space where you are sitting in the room. And now let yourself just become aware of the sounds around you. That sense of sound can fill your awareness. Pause for some moments. Let your awareness now find the breathe wherever you feel it most prominently, whether it's at the level of your nostril, the air going in and out, or the level of your chest as it goes up and down, or the level of your abdomen going inward and outward. Perhaps you'll even just notice your whole body breathing wherever it comes naturally. Just let your awareness ride the wave of your in breathe and then your out breathe. Pause when you come to notice, as often happens, that your mind may have wandered and become lost in thought or a memory, a feeling, a worry. When you notice that, just take a note of it and gently loving return your awareness toward the breathe wherever you feel it, and follow that wave of in breathe and the out breathe. As you follow your breathe, I'm going to tell you an ancient story that's been passed through the generations. The mind is like the ocean, and deep in the ocean, beneath the surface, it's calm and clear. And no matter what the surface conditions are like, whether it's smooth or choppy, or even a full strength gale up there, deep in the ocean, it's tranquil. Let me check its pronunciation.
Tranquil.
Tranquil, tranquil and serene. From the depth of the ocean, you can look toward the surface and simply notice the activity there. Just as from the depth of the mind, now you can look upward toward the waves and the brain waves at the surface of your mind. All that activity of mind, the thoughts, feelings, sensations, and memories. Enjoy this opportunity to adjust and to just observe those activities at the surface of your mind. At times, it may be helpful to let your attention go back to the breath and follow the breath to reground yourself in the tranquil place at the deepest depth of the mind. From this place, it's possible to become aware of the activities of the mind without being swept away by them, to discern that those are not the totality of who you are, that you are more than just your thoughts, more than your feelings. You can have those thoughts and feelings and also be able to just notice them with the wisdom that they are not your identity. They are simply one part of your brain, your mind's experience. For some, naming the type of mental activity like feelings or thinking, remembering, or worrying can help allow these activities of the mind to be noted as events that come and go. Let them gently float away and out of awareness. Pause. I'll share one more image with you during this inward time. Perhaps you'll find it helpful and want to use it as well. Picture your mind as a wheel of awareness. Imagine a bicycle wheel where there is an outer rim and spokes that connect that rim to the to an inner hub in this mind's wheel of awareness. Anything that can come into our awareness is one of the infinite points on the rim. One specter of the rim might include that we become aware of thoughts, aware of through our five senses of touch, taste, smell, hearing, and sight. Those senses that bring the outside world into our mind. Another sector of the dream is our inward sense of the body, the sensation in our limbs and our facial muscles, yeah, the feelings in the organs of our torso, our lungs, our heart, our intestine, all of the body brings its wisdom up to our mind, and this bodily sense, this sixth sense, if you will, is another of the elements to which we can bring our awareness. Other points on the rim are what the mind creates directly, such as thoughts and feelings, memories and perceptions, hopes and dreams. These segment of the rim of our mind is also available to our awareness, and this capacity to see the mind itself, our own mind as well as the minds of others, is what we might call our seventh sense. As we came to the sense of our connections with our others, we perceive our relationship with the large world, which perhaps constitutes yet another capacity and a relational sense. Now notice that we have a choice about where we send our attention. We can choose which point on the rim to visit. We may choose to pay attention to one of the five senses, or perhaps the feeling in our belly and send a spoke there, or we may choose to pay attention to memory and send a spoke to that area of the rim where input from our seventh sense is located. All of these spokes emanate from the depth of our mind, which is the hub of the wheel of awareness. And as we focus on breathe, we will find that the hub grows more spacious. As the hub expands, we develop the capacity to be receptive to whatever arises from the rim. We can give ourselves over to the spaciousness, to the luminous quality of the hub. It can receive any aspects of our experience just as it is, without preconceived ideas or judgments. This mindful awareness, this receptive attention brings us into a tranquil place where we can be aware of and know all element of our experience. Like the calm depths of the sea inside the hub of our will of awareness is a place of tranquility, of safety, or of openness and curiosity. It is from this safe and open place that we can explore the nature of the mind with equanimity, energy, and concentration. Did I stop? No, I thought I stopped. I thought I stopped because I was not able to see timing how much time it had happened. Like I still need to read like for 10 or 15 minutes. There is one thing that is going into my mind related to my work that I have to complete. I was thinking that if I would have started my live streaming early in the morning, then I would have started my work right away. Like there are some of the things that I have to see and I need to fill out those things. So I was just thinking about that while reading. Sometimes it happens because like if the things don't go well, then you think of another things. So just because of that, like I'm just thinking about those things. Again, my body language is not good, so ignore that. I'll try to do all of those things. Like the calm depths of the sea inside the hub of our wheel of awareness. Might be I missed somewhere else here, but I'll start reading from here. In the calm depths of the sea inside the hub of our wheel of awareness is a place of tranquility, of safety, of openness and curiosity. It is from this safe and open place that can explore the nature of the mind with equanimity, energy, and concentration. And this hub of our mind is always available to us right now, and it's from this hub that we enter a compassionate state of connections to ourselves and feel compassion for others. Now let's focus on our breathe for a few more moments together, opening the spacious hub of our minds to the beauty and wonder of what is. Pause. When you are ready, you can take a more voluntary and perhaps deeper breath if you wish, and get ready to gently let your eyes open, and will continue to our dialogue together. Sorry for again for this noise. How was that? Some people have a tough time diving in. Others feel at ease with the experience. If the breathe doesn't work for you after a few sessions, you may want to find another form of mindful focus. Yoga or Tai Chi or walking meditation might be more comfortable place for you to begin. Just a few minutes a day of these or another basic mindful awareness practice can make a big difference in people's lives. A number of my patients have reported feelings less anxiety, a deeper sense of clarity, safety, and security, and an improved sense of well-being. I hope Jonathan would respond the same way. Fortunately, Jonathan took to this exercise well and became committed to doing a mindfulness of the breath meditation daily, initially for about 5 or 10 minutes at a time. When his mind wandered from an awareness of his breath, he would simply note this distraction and gently return attention to his breathing. The renowned psychologist William James once said, "The faculty of voluntarily bringing back a wandering attention over and over again is the very root of judgment, character, at will, and education which should improve this faculty would be the education number excellence." Though James also said it is easier to define this ideal than to give practical directions for bringing it about. We actually do know how to focus a wandering attention again and again, to use mindfulness practice to educate the mind itself. I truly did feel like a teacher for Jonathan, offering him education in his own mind developed from 2500 years ago. Years of com- contemplative practice. I thought that like we missed somewhere, like I started reading it again, so I thought that like why it happened, but it's not like that. It didn't happen like that. Mm, I'm getting yawning sometime, so sorry for that again. As a part of his school's film club, Jonathan had been creating a short documentaries exploring various parts of town with his parents. Camcorder. He brought one of these projects into show me early in our work together, and I was impressed by the creative ways he used camera angles to capture the mood and and texture of this city in which both of us had been born and raised. His eyes sparkled with pride when he saw how much I enjoyed his creation. I told Jonathan about the metaphor of camera on a tripod that I introduced in the chapter 2. The lens of his camera is our ability to perceive the mind. Without a tripod, but to keep the lens steady, the mind can jump around like an amateur movie made with a handheld camera. Jonathan got it immediately. The blurry, bumpy film was like the feeling of being lost in his mood swings. Jonathan also liked the image of the ocean in the meditation exercise. He could identify with being a cork cobbing up and down on the surface of an agitated sea. But whichever metaphor of the mind works for you, will and help camera see, the sense is the same. And there is a place deep within us that is observant, objective, and open. This is the receptive hub of the mind, the tranquil depth of the mental sea. From this place, Jonathan could use the power of reflective awareness to alter the way his brain functioned, and ultimately to change the structure of his brain. Let's look at this process using the three legs of the Mindsight tripod: observation, objectivity, and openness. Jonathan first needed simply to become aware of his awareness, to observe how he focused his attention. As he discovered, when he tried to focus on his breath, he would get distracted repeatedly and become lost in his thoughts, feelings, and memories. This is not doing the meditation wrong. The point of the exercise is to notice these distractions and then to refocus on the target, the breathe, over and over again. Exercising attention is like developing a muscle. We blend our arm and then straighten it, flexing and relaxing our biceps, focusing and refocusing our attention when it wanders. This practice would not only develop Jonathan's ability to be aware of his awareness, but it would strengthen his attention to his intention. In this case, the focus on breath, this monitoring of awareness and intention is at the heart of all mindfulness practices, from yoga to insight meditation. Whether the focus is on posture and movement, the breathe or candle flame, or any of the myriad other targets found in the world's culture bit by bit. Jonathan would build this mindfulness skill of aim and sustain and stabilize his mindset lens. In addition to his mindfulness exercise, Jonathan agreed to keep a journal of his daily activities, nothing his shifts in mood, his mindful practice or not, and his aerobic exercise. This was another opportunity to develop his capacity to observe his internal and external experiences and to reflect on the working of his mind. Recording his experience with mindfulness quickly revealed his lack of confidence in his mind. Nearly everyone who tries meditation discovers that thoughts and feelings keep interrupting our attention attempts at focus. Even after years of practice, but intense feelings of frustration would flood Jonathan at such time, and he would write in his journal about how out of control this made him feel. He shared some entries with me where he self paragement bordered
Disparagement.
disparagement. Self-disparagement bordered on not wanting to go on living, but there were glimmers of something else in the journal as well. My father told me to stop playing my music so loud and I blew up. He's so mean and doesn't know how to get off my back. But tonight I could see my explosion at him like from a watchtower, sitting watching it fume. And it felt bad and couldn't stop it. The next day he said he had calmed down, but he still felt that his mind had betrayed him again. Only this time I could see it instead of just being lost in it. The observational distance that allow us to watch our own mental activity is an important first step toward regulating and stabilizing the mind. Jonathan was beginning to learn that he could sit in his prefrontal cortex and not get swept up by the brain waves crashing in on him from the other neural regions. It was an important place to start. I read it. There is one thing that I would like to say related to the things that's going from my side. Like there are some children who wanted to enter in my room and they're making noises, and just because of that, I'm being frustrated. Like I wanted to, I'll scold on them so that they should understand that I'm doing something you don't understand. If I'm not replying, that means you don't have to like do this again and again. You should understand. But as they are children, like it's like my past experience or something that is making me feel very like angerness or something like that. So like after finishing my like live stream, I'm gonna go there and I will scold on them, but I'll try to control myself. I'll not scold on them. Let's see what happens after ending my live streaming. I guess I'm not gonna do that because I have already said here, and if I'm going to say here, then definitely I'm not gonna make that. So yeah, this is the thing. I will not go into my past experiences same way as I was, as like I have been doing or something like that. I'll try not to do that, but they are literally frustrating. Like they are doing the same thing again and again. Like I have told them that I am doing something. Like you don't have to do things. They are like coming and like calling me. They are just trying to like enter in my room. I don't know why they want to enter, but it's kind of thing that they are doing it again and again. so I'm getting frustrated, but I'll try to make them understand in a good way or good manner, or I'll try to make them understand that, see, I've been doing every day and you don't have to do this. They are like those people are my niece and nephews, so might be they'll understand tomorrow. Might be, I don't know about that, but let's check. Like I have still like 4 to 5 minutes to talk, like to my live stream. I have to do this because I will be doing this. If you are new to awareness training or meditation, you may find it helpful to compare it to what happens when you learn to play a musical instrument. Initially, you focus on the characteristics of the instrument, the string, the keys, the mouthpiece, and then you practice basic skills such as playing scales, strumming, chords, focusing on one note at a time. This intentional and repeated practice is building a new capacity. It actually strengthens the parts of the brain that are required for this new behavior. While reading this, I was just thinking about the children, and like children in the sense, sometimes what we do, we scold down on children because they don't understand, but somewhere in their brain it gets like just because of that there is some brain neurons that get fired, like in a bad manner in the sense, in a negative way in the sense, they get scared of the things after that. I've noticed it, so just because of that I said so. I try to avoid scolding on children because it's not good. As a responsible person, as like gentleman, I should be behave like good, because eventually the goal is to improve myself. So if I'm not doing that, then it doesn't mean that I'm growing, isn't it? Ah, yes, I guess I'm right. I don't know what I said, but it is the thing. Awareness training is a skill building practice in which the musical instrument is your mind. The aim and sustain skill developed during observation enables you to hold your attention steady to stabilize the mind. The next step is to distinguish the quality of awareness from the object of attention. We begin this phase of Jonathan's awareness training with what is called a body scan. And during this practice, Jonathan would lie down on the floor and focus his awareness on whatever body part I mentioned. We would systematically move from his toes to his nose, pausing for pausing for him to take in the sensation of each region. When his attention strayed, his job was simply to gently note the distraction and let it go. The refocus, just as you done with the breath. Now, what this immersion in body sensation was doing was directing your attention to a new area on the rim of his wheel of awareness, sitting at the hub of the wheel. He could focus on the various sensations from his body, locating areas of tension or relaxation, and noting mental distractions while moving at will within this sixth sense sector of the rim. Next, I taught Jonathan a walking meditation, 20 slow places across the room with the focus of attention on the soles of his feet or lower legs. Same approach. When he noticed that his mind pulled his attention away from the target, he simply refocused. This practice continued to build the aim and sustain function of observation, but they also were an and three.
Entrée.
Oh man, what it is.
Entree.
And try into objectivity. And the focal point of attention changed with each practice, but the sensation of awareness remained the same. Awareness itself was becoming an expanded presence in his internal world. There is one more thing that I would like to say. Some of the time I don't see the meaning of the words, which I really don't know, even though I don't see because I don't know about it. If like I'm not gonna read this book Mindsight only one time. At least I'm going to read this book 3 times. So if I'm going to read it again, then at that particular time or when I'm reading it again, that time I'll be able to get more out of it. Right now, whatever I'm getting, then right now whatever I'm getting, like what I'm trying to say is here that I'll get more afterward when I will read this book second time than what I am reading right now. Now I get a sentence. Here is an entry Jonathan shared with me from his journal around this time. Amazing realization. I can feel this change. My thoughts and feelings come up. Something big, sometimes bad, but they used to feel like who I was, and now they are becoming more like an experience I am having, not who I am. They don't define who I am. Another entry described an incident when he was upset with his brother. I just got really mad, but then took myself outside for walk. I was in the yard, and in the back of my head I could almost feel this split, something like a part of me that could see and part a part that could get lost in the feelings. It was really weird. I watched my breath, but I'm not sure that did much. Sometime later I just seemed to calm down. It was as if I didn't take my own feelings so seriously. During his home practice, Jonathan was alternating among breath awareness, body scans, and walking meditation. But now his initial sense of frustration returned in a new form. He reported one day that he would get a huge headache, a kind of voice that kept telling him what he ought to feel, what he should be doing, what he was doing his meditation all wrong, that he was no good. All of these judgments were activities of his mind, I said, and I reassured him that he was certainly not alone. Many of us have a judging voices that critiques our progress, but the next step in his growth would require him to stop being a slave to that voice. I felt this was a challenge that Jonathan was now ready to confront. And that's it for today. I will stop reading here, and we'll start read it again from here itself tomorrow morning, early in the morning. It could be 8 o'clock, or it could be like 9 o'clock. Between that I'll start. So if you are there, then definitely like you'll be like listening me, and let's see how tomorrow's live stream will go, what we are going to have, and all those things. But that's it for now. Thank you for being with me. If anyone is watching, but no one was there was only one person who was watching in starting and in the end, and thank you for that person as well. And thank you if you are watching it after this like live streaming. I mean like if we end live streaming, after that my live streaming, whatever I stream, that will be on my YouTube. And if you are watching my live streaming, then thank you for watching, and that's all for today.